Brazil is going to war with Twitter, or maybe it's Twitter is going to war with Brazil. So serious situation have developed between Twitter, led by Elon Musk, and against Brazilian government. And the thing is rather bizarre and actually intriguing and very scary. So as you can see on this April the 8th, basically the past 24 hours, Brazil's Supreme Court judge have opened an investigation against Elon Musk alleging misinformation. So what actually happened? So first thing first, Twitter is actually a 7.5 billion revenue in 2023. That will list Twitter as a country, if it is a country, having a revenue just above Montenegro. So we are talking about Montenegro going to war with Brazil. But of course, I think Twitter have more influence than Montenegro. And the person in question is this Darth Vader. The judge of Brazil, a very, very fascinating character. And so what happened? So the X global government affairs, basically the X official account, talking about policies and their dealings with different governments around the world, basically announced that they are forced by court divisions. I'm not sure you can read. Let me zoom in. So by court divisions to block certain popular accounts in Brazil. So and then they have informed all these accounts to be taken, and so all these orders coming from Brazilian government or the court are just said, please take down this post, take down this person. But there is no reasons being given. They are not being told what kind of laws that these people have broken. And they are even prohibited to say which court or judge have issued the order and on what ground. And they are also prohibited to tell anyone what accounts are being banned, or shadow banned, or have their posts deleted or censored. And they are threatened with daily fines if they did not comply. And clearly, I think Twitter, of course, have been complying so far. And however, X don't believe that this is according to the constitution of Brazil's federal constitution, and they are trying to challenge these orders legally if they can. And they stand strongly for the people of Brazil. However, this was on the 7th. And then after that, Elon Musk just broke. Elon Musk said that there's this judge called Alexandre, which is just now the Darth Vader that I've showed you. He looked more Darth Vader-ish just now. This photo looks less Darth Vader-ish, but definitely no less fierce, to say the less scary word. So they say that this guy has been demanding all these things. It's actually this guy. He only points to this one person, and he said that how these requests are violating Brazilian laws, and this judge have betrayed the Brazilian constitution and the people of Brazil, and he's basically gone to war with this guy, which have an account of 1.1 million on Twitter. Very interesting, and everybody is now following him because Elon Musk basically made him famous right now, including me. I also following him right now, although I can't really read because everything is in Portuguese. So anyway, then we have journalist Michael Schellenberger. Basically, I think he's Brazilian, and he basically opened up a file, basically explaining what had happened. So currently what happening in Brazil is that there's this judge called Alexandre de Moraes has now engaged in crackdown on free speech. He has been throwing people into jail without trial for things that they posted in social media, removal of users from social media platforms, and also require censorship of certain specific posts without giving user the right of appeal or to see the evidence presented against them. And this is a judge, mind you. And the Twitter files now they release, because previously they are not allowed to release, or they don't dare to release because of course of all the daily threats. This time round, they now release that de Moraes and the Superior Electoral Court, which he controls, are trying to demand Twitter to reveal personal information about Twitter users using hashtag that he did not like. and demand access to internal data. Of course, this will never happen because Elon Musk will not allow such thing to happen. It's kind of a different regime right now in Twitter, and it sought to unilaterally censor unilaterally Twitter posts by sitting members of Congress. This is actually huge because this becomes a political censorship against opponents, political opponents. But of course, this guy is not a politician. This judge is not a politician, which means that he's operating for someone. And it seems like this someone is actually the current president, Lula. So they even try to weaponize the content moderation policies against the supporters of then President Jair Bolsonaro. This is the previous president. So basically now what is currently happening in Brazil is that the current president is trying to gather power to himself, and through the alliance and of the help of this judge Alexandre de Moraes. So. And in the follow-up post by Michael, he's now reporting from Brazil, which sounds like a dangerous thing to do. He says that on the 6th, this is on the 7th. Oh, so okay. Anyway, it's a different time zone. So Brazil court have forced Twitter to block a certain popular account, which they have not mention what it is. So Elon Musk basically, after an hour later, decided to defy the court order and go to war with Brazil. So Elon Musk said that they will probably lose all their revenue in Brazil and shut down their office, but the principal matters and ties with Twitter or X, and Brazil is now at war. So currently, Brazil Supreme Court could shut off access to X for people of Brazil, which means that it is possible because the justice could easily just make a order and shut down internet access to X in Brazil at any time, which is highly possible. But of course, if they try to do this, it might trigger an avalanche of things that will happen internally. There could be create a lot more civil problems within Brazil. But I'm not sure how far Brazilians would go because Brazil itself is pretty messy, and it's not an exaggeration, according to this journalist, that Brazil is now on the brink of a dictatorship at the hands of a totalitarian Supreme Court justice, which is against the Alexandre guy. So Lula da Silva, which is the current president, is now pushing towards totalitarianism. After taking office, and they have increased government funding of mainstream media while encouraging the increase of censorship, which is probably what we are looking at right now. Basically, I will just go through. There is still more things. So they have so whatever they say, doesn't matter. So Brazil is not yet a dictatorship. You still have elections. The people still have the disposal to confront authoritarianism, but it's unlikely to work out. I think I'm not sure how far they can go. I'm not sure, will this be a bit like a Haiti situation where the politicians start to engage with gangs and mafias to gain power or silence oppositions. So we are now in this situation where it looks a bit scary in Brazil. So the Supreme Court and the superior electoral courts are directly interfering with election through censorship, which is why there's the main big problem with the censorship orders coming from Brazil. So all this I already mentioned earlier in the previous post. So this guy he talked about himself. Okay, so the Twitter files also revealed that Google, Facebook, Uber, WhatsApp, and Instagram also has been providing all these demands to providing whatever is demanded by the Brazilian Supreme Court or the government. And so this is not unusual because they have been doing this kind of thing for the US government as well, or the CIA or FBI or whatnot. So that is nothing very unique, which is why whatever X is doing is very rare, because this is only one of the very few total free speech space that is left, other than the DPA forum or Telegram. So they provided the Brazilian government with personal registration data, telephone numbers without a court order, and they are referring to all this big tech, And when Twitter refused to provide Brazilian authorities with private user information, including direct messages, government attempted to sue Twitter's top Brazilian lawyer. So basically, it's an attack, an attack or an assault through the law by proxy. So so this journalist has been talking to other journalists, professors, and lawyers, and everyone is shocked by what is currently developing within Brazil, and they are very afraid to speak their mind. And so there is this climate of fear in Brazil. I'm not sure if this is the case. So Brazilians in the DPA army, do comment below. Let everyone know what is currently happening in Brazil. What do you think? And so. Oh, he's not his country. So, okay, so he's not Brazilian. So anyway, but he said that many Brazilians do not feel safe saying that this Alessandro de Moraes is a tyrant, and the only way to deal with tyrant is to confront them. So this currently the situation is more like a game of chicken right now, because so this is the journalist. It's a game of chicken because it's just one judge, of course, and the president. And probably there's also other henchmen or related people, but it's still a handful of people, but they are in high rank and have certain powers. And these people, of course, like what he said, this kind of people is afraid of confrontation or direct confrontation by the masses. Of course, 1 or 2% or small group of people, they are not afraid because they have the power to overwhelm. But when a lot of people is confronting, for example, something as big as X, the entire Twitter going against him, then the things is going to be really, unnerving for this judge as well, because he's now against a formidable opponent, and this is not just going to affect the internal politics within Brazil. It's going to affect the geopolitics. Other countries' relationship with Brazil is going to be affected for sure as well, because because of all this revelation, they're going to start to reassess their relationship or reassess their risk assessment about Brazil, and that will affect future deals with Brazil, because if they feel that Brazil is going to head to a certain path, then maybe their economics or finance may be affected, the trade might be affected, and the people that they have to do business with, to make deals with, might be affected. So it's going to affect not just the internal politics of Brazil, but it's going to affect the geopolitics. And basically, Dodge designer basically also posted this quote by Elon Musk, basically saying that this demand to suspend the accounts of sitting members and journalists, they cannot tell them this, and they cannot tell them that this is at the behest of Alessandro. So let's listen to Elon Musk himself say and see what he says.
Demands from this Judge Alexander. That's his name on Twitter, at Alexander. And there would be to suspend accounts immediately. We're given typically 2 hours to suspend an account or face massive fines. And the final straw is we were being given demands to suspend sitting members of the parliament and major journalists. And moreover, we could not tell them that this was at the behest of Alexander Morales. We had to pretend that it was due to our rules of service. And that was the final straw, and we said no.
So this is the statement directly from Elon Musk, and this is basically retweeted by Elon Musk himself. So this is real. This is not fake. So situation is extremely bad right now. As you can see, all these statements that I have shared with you is directly retweeted by Elon Musk himself. This is basically a declaration of war by Elon Musk on Brazil. As you can see, free speech. He's basically taking on Brazil's elites to fight for the free speech of people and the free expression of people, and of course the democratic the democratic foundations for the Brazilian people. I think this is still a developing story. Things is still happening. This is just the opening salvo coming from Twitter against Brazil elite or this allegedly corrupted official. And if we go back to the initial article, this is published by the Associated Press, being reshared by NPR. Basically, the Supreme Court Justice has included Elon Musk as a target for the ongoing investigation over dissemination of fake news. So this is going to be very difficult because the Supreme Court is investigating against Elon Musk, that is now accusing the Supreme Court for trying to do censorship, and they call this thing fake news. And I'm quite sure that Twitter have the receipts, all the receipts of all these censorship requests. There's nothing in today's age is going to be left without evidence. So Alexander de Moraes basically noted that Elon Musk is waging a public disinformation campaign. So is it disinformation, misinformation? So he called it disinformation. He didn't call it misinformation. So the information might be actually correct. So anyway, so he said that the social media company X will cease to basically Elon Musk say that it will not comply. So this is an obstruction of Brazilian justice and incitement of crime and the public threat against disobedience against court orders. And so he said that this is a disrespect of the sovereignty of Brazil. And basically now it's your word against his words. So now war. They are now going into legal war. And I'm not sure if it's even a fightable war because of course, like I said, this guy is a justice. He's within the Supreme Court. The only way this can be resolved is that there is a third judge or even a few judges coming together, and this judge in question he cannot be part of this case. So that is the only way, at the very minimum, for a fair judgment. But we do not know how Brazil is going to react to this thing. Tentatively, this guy feels like more president than the real president himself. Like he actually operates more like a king. He's like a king, like a monarch. So this kind of thing, the kind of things that he can do, the kind of things he can say, he feels way more powerful than a normal president. He seems to be like a king where he can just decide who to live, who to die. So this seems to be the case. I'm not saying that I'm taking a side yet, but it looks like I'm taking a side. But I'm just saying by principle, this is what it is, So you can't investigate your own case. Or you can't judge on your own case. The case that is allegedly pointing to himself, he definitely, he cannot be defending himself. So he have to be part of this. The people that is being he cannot be the judge of his own case. Put it that way. So yeah, and so there's more things in this article. Say that digital militia investigation, lawmakers from the former president's circle has been imprisoned, supporters' homes has been raided, and then the former president himself has been a target of investigation in 2021. So this has all corroborates with what just now the Michael said, and so the Moraes defender said that his decision are legally sound and necessary to purge social media of fake news and extinguish threats to Brazilian democracy, which is of course nonsense. It's just like the Europeans' censorship of Russian news and Russian pro-Russian supporters, and then call it democracy and free speech is pure bullshit, because true democracy must have certain level of free speech, at least responsible free speech, and then in the marketplace of ideas, you clash and then you debate and then see where people stand in the end. So with no exchange of ideas and information, the lack of a good quality information means that you cannot make good analysis, which means everything will just be nonsensical. So then you'll be making poor decisions and everything will just go to hell. So basically, the rest of the things we have already mentioned. So according to this demands, the Moraes division warned against doing so, saying that each blog account that acts reactivates will entail a fine of 20,000 per day. Which law in Brazil's law says that this is a thing? Is up to you Brazilians to find out. It makes zero sense, because I'm quite sure Brazil don't have such a law. I don't think any country have such a law that's saying that, a social media account receiving an order to block a certain account and did not block will be fined on a daily basis, which is nonsensical. I think this is pure censorship or pure manipulation of social media. This one is definitely, so not okay. For sure. Imagine some other country suddenly started to sue DPA and say that, for each of your Ukraine war video that's still up, you'll be fined $10,000 a day. That is nonsensical, right? It's like, So, because if this can be made randomly without investigation and court proceedings, arguing on each block account on what crime have they committed, and go through the whole legal process to justify why the account must be blocked, then that is the precedence. Then this consequence of this punishment on X would not have legal grounding. It cannot be they demand X to do something and then X don't do, they can just fine them. That is basically a tyranny, to put it that way. This is just an abuse of power, and the right thing is that every single block account would have to be a separate legal case, and they have to be first go through the entire legal process to confirm that they have committed a crime, and then X then will have the due responsibility to block the certain account or delete the certain account based on the final judgment. It cannot be just random. So the Attorney General say that it's urgent for Brazil to regulate social media platforms. They say that they cannot live in a society where billionaires have control of social networks and put themselves in violation of rule of law. Of course, these are all, this is another judge, I think. I'm not sure. This is Attorney General George Messias. So it looks like things is looking like shit right now in Brazil. So anyway, Brazilians, do comment in the comments. Let everyone know what is currently happening from your point of view. And I also will be reading and try to acquaint myself with what is currently happening in Brazil, because the only thing that I've known about Brazil is that things are a bit not that good. There are certain level of corruption. Some of them even relate to Singapore because of some oil company corruption or thingy, which is some years ago. And then Brazil is hell-bent on joining BRICS. They've been trying to pull Argentina in, but Argentina flipped west with the new president. So Lula has also went to war in a way against Israel as well. So a lot of things is currently happening with Brazil. Very, very messy. Anyway, thank you for watching. Do comment. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you guys in the next update.